Did you bring some fish?
That is quite logical, Captain.
Where shall I strike?
Test your might. Test your might.
Get it out! Get it out!
Test your might. Test your might.
Your mother was a murderer! You smell like a leopard! You are not
Welcome to the Geek Card Show 118. Got your number. That's a
God.
That's a joke that only about a tenth of our audience is going to get.
Why? That advert was terrible.
So
No.
Okay, I'm a bad man. So this is going to be a shorter show than the previous show, which was a full-length one. We advertised as a short show. This was supposed to be a full-length one, but due to illnesses and unavailability, we actually have to make this a short show this week. So we'll jump straight into it, except for a slight announcement that I'm currently sitting at a comically weird angle in my chair. Due to a bad back, I found I can only sit properly if I'm sort of basically sitting on my tailbone and heavily reclined. Which,
God, what did you do?
Oh, it's just my bad back. But in a non-reclining office chair, that's a position that's very difficult to achieve.
Floating on air.
Yes, and it's raid night tonight, so I'll probably be sat like this all night.
Well, at least you only have to press a few buttons, right?
Well, having the buttons on my mouse is a big help.
Yeah.
One hand can get to the table.
I mean,
So-
hopefully this time we'll get around to actually getting bosses down this week.
Yes, don't know what would happen to us last week, but we seem to have all completely forgotten how to not stand in the jam.
Yep. It
Including
was our
me,
first
who was
raid
tanking
back
it
after
for us.
Christmas.
Yes, that's true. And we were a tank down, so my Swiss Army Paladin had switched from healer to tank and was tanking the fight with our long-term Paladin tank, or Pank, as I've now christened them. She'll have to tell Corin that later.
Oh dear.
So,
Oh, dear.
Robbie, how was your geeky week?
Well, since people haven't been about in WoW as much, I've been mainly on Discord doing Mythic runs with people that actually want to do Mythic runs at the minute, because it seems that everyone's on that bit of the patch where it's like, oh God, the rewards aren't worth the stuff we're doing and the amount of time it takes to do it and all that.
Yeah, and also because there's the same reasons why we've not managed to, almost didn't manage to record a show this week, is reasons that have also completely hammered our Mythic progression schedule.
Yeah, people have been, if one of us hasn't been ill, it's been one of our other usual members, and then trying to find someone to fill in the slot because someone else is ill, and it's been the post-Christmas ill season, it seems.
Yes.
But I managed to get a Mythic 6, not done in the timer, but actually done, and I got a 375 reward, so that seems to be the level to get to for current.
Excellent. Was it an offhand?
No.
Of
6
course it
weeks
wasn't.
now. I've been waiting for an offhand for 6 weeks. But I have it on authority of the Burt.
The birds, right. Okay.
Yes, that rewards for things are being sort of patched in the next sort of mini update.
Nice.
So for example, doing a normal mythic will get you a 360 item.
Ah.
So it will scale up so that we can actually get things that will help push us further. So that'd be nice. What about you in WoW? What have you done in WoW since you've not been mythicking?
I've not been mythicking, so I've mostly just been leveling up my Voidelf Warlock, and I've mostly been just sort of listening to podcasts and things like that while I'm doing it, so it's distract me from getting too bored of the same sort of fetch and carry quests, which is all of the level sort of 12 to probably 85. Yes, I've got to level 50, which I think the last time we spoke I was about 38. So I've managed to get some good hours in there. I'm currently, as people know, I'm a pro wrestling fan, but at the moment, the pro wrestling product is so terrible that I've stopped actually watching it. I just listen to podcasts where the people summarize and bitch about it. But that has given me plenty of entertainment while I've been leveling my warlock, which is good because the game hasn't been giving me any entertainment while I level my warlock. I went from Booty Bay, which was okay, if a little bit. These quests aren't very sensibly described or laid out, and it's hard to find what you're looking for, through to Western Plaguelands, because I got mind-numbingly bored of pirate jokes, and then followed those quests through to Eastern Plaguelands. And I thought to myself, oh yeah, it's the Fiona stuff. I remember really liking the Fiona stuff in Cataclysm when I didn't know any better. Unfortunately, like leveling Pandaria and then Legion, and even actually leveling in Warlords, because the leveling was great. It was the end game that was sucky there. But the quests are seriously tediously dull. Not because I've played them before, because it's been long enough that I don't remember them. It's just that they're all combinations, very poorly disguised combinations of kill 12 of these and 14 of these, and they've still got that hangover from early WoW, which was bring me 6 tiger feet. Oh, by the way, the tigers you're killing at the moment don't apparently have any feet on them. So that's it feels like a ridiculous time sink, which now that I'm much more time poor than I was when I was leveling in these quests originally, it's a bit annoying. It's also I also found the last sort of 5 levels have been the point where my warlock stops hitting like a truck and killing things comically quickly, and starts actually having DPS issues to the point where my tanking demon can die, and then I die from the thing hitting a clothy in the face.
Yeah,
and that means that it gets very not fun very quickly. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to getting to 60 and getting into Northrend and seeing if things get a bit more interesting. But
when you get your Voidelf to 60, tell me, and I'll go back on my gnome who's been at 60 for a while.
Fair enough.
Because I had the same issue where I actually burnt out of leveling because I was like, I can't do it anymore. I can't get through it.
What I might do is, if we've got groups of not quite enough to do Mythics, I might just ask if we can jump into 5-man content, even if there's just 4 of us, just power level him a bit.
Yeah.
Because on our Dark Irons, we managed to do like 5 levels in one evening. So.
Yeah, but I think the plan with the Dark Irons is more or less 75% dungeons. And
that's
the occasional transmog run.
Yeah. That's absolutely fine for me. So.
But what else have you been doing this week?
Oh, we've been playing D&D, of course. We're playing. We did the 9th session, I think, of the Dragon Heist. Bear in mind, we're probably several sessions behind because we keep farting around and arguing about haberdashery and nonsense like that. But yes, this week we awoke to find there was a huge explosion in the market outside of our tavern, and. Well, I won't go into the minutiae of it, but needless to say, as a grave cleric, I had both the dying to spare and tend to, and the living to patch up and heal. So that was interesting. I actually got inspiration for immediately going and trying to help the townsfolk instead of trying to solve the mystery or loot the dead bodies, which is what one of our characters immediately did.
Of course. I mean, that's what you do, isn't it?
Well, exactly. When you're a wandering murder hobo.
Is that the official title? Is it?
The wandering murder hobos is what everyone's D&D party turns into. Yes. In fact, the reason we've been given a tavern in this story is so that we can't turn into the hobo part of murder hobos, and the City Watch can track us down if they need to.
Right.
So one of our players isn't liking their character at the moment, and she's interested in playing a healer type. So obviously, as the group's designated full healer, like all of my spells are devoted towards healing and helping. I thought, oh well, this is going to be interesting. Maybe I need to think of a new character as well. But actually, when I went through the sort of mythos around the Grave Cleric, you can play them as a pure DPS class who are, instead of like shepherding souls to the grave at the correct time, they're actually, trying to hurry them there by smacking people about with a mace. So I've decided that back in his day, as a novice, he read a forbidden text, which has always put this sort of thought in the back of his mind that maybe he would be better serving the grave by giving it as many souls as quickly as he could.
Feed it souls.
Yes. So he might do a heel turn and go to the dark side at some point in the future, which I quite like the idea of, because the cleric domain also allows you to swap out all your spells, because basically you have access to all the spells, you just have to prepare a certain amount of them. So yes, he's going to, at some point, if necessary, he's going to just have a personality shift. All his spells will change and he'll go, I may even make him like lawful evil or chaotic neutral or something.
Well, that sounds fun. So in a week and a half, I have a PvP battle royale D&D thing.
Oh yes,
and I've pretty much prepared my character, because it's a one shot where we're level 10, so we get to pick everything that we want to do. And I've gone for a half elf rogue, because all the sneaks and dash abilities to run away from people hitting me in the face. Is the reason.
That sweet sneak attack damage.
That sneak attack bonus, unless like you've been boxed in or something by a warlock being a pain in the ass. But I was wondering whether I should change it, because I've gone with thief,
right,
for at the moment. But I'm considering arcane trickster for the spell.
I was gonna say arcane trickster for some useful cantrips.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I'm seeing the DM tomorrow as we're recording, to go through what we're allowed to have and
nice.
Things like that. But
what level is the battle royale?
We're all level 10.
Okay, so you could do a 1 level dip in, or 2 level dip into Grave Cleric to get access to Toll the Dead as a cantrip. It does 1d8, or if the character's already taken damage, it does 1d12 as a cantrip. So you can you could wait for someone who's injured, cast that, and then do stabby, and
what, as a bonus action? Because I get 2 weapons fighting.
Oh yes, or your 2 weapon fighting. Yeah, so you might be able to have your holy focus in one hand and call it a mace, and then which you get from the cleric dip, and also gives you access to medium armor then as well, and a shield.
Because the thing I was mainly going for, in the way that I've spec'd this one so far, I'm just looking at my character sheet now, is that I've got some basic poisons, and I've got a bow and a hand crossbow as well. So I could do the extra 1d4, because my strength modifier means I'm basically getting a +5 to everything. So I'm doing basically 1d10 +5 every time I use a longsword.
Nice.
Which is why I'm considering not going for the arcane trickster, just because it's like, well, I might as well hit 2. If I can use 2 weapon fighting, I can just hit 2 things in the face with a 1d8 and a 1d10. But the other thing I was considering doing was, for my equipment, I've going to see if I can get away with having some ball bearings. Because you can just throw them across the air, like a 10-foot square.
I'm fairly sure caltrops are available, so you could just respec those, surely.
I have to look into it. But I was hopefully going to just have some ball bearings and have like a deck saving throw, so I could hopefully make someone prone.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But yeah, I was considering not doing the arcane trickster, just because then it's just too much to think of. God, well, I've got too many options.
Yeah, well, I mean, also you've got, if you did do a dip into something like some form of cleric, you get some, you get like a few cantrips and armor and weapon proficiencies without needing to do the arcane trickster route. So you could just do like 2 levels in knowledge cleric or grave cleric or something, and then the rest in rogue, because that would still get you a 6 or 7 level rogue, so you can or 8 in fact, so you could probably get most of your goodies by then.
Yeah, I mean, as long as I have uncanny dodge as well, then I'm fine. Because having that half damage is nice.
Yeah.
But I also spec'd into, if I'm having thief, I was going to have grappling. Just because it gives someone restrain. So, I don't know, if there's a big beefy character and I'm like, nope, you're grappled now, you can't use your arms. Haha, no arms for you. But yeah, I had so much sort of theory crafting that I was like, oh god, I have so many options. But then I'm like, if it's PvP, I need to be able to guarantee a hit, which was the big thing. And with a strength modifier and like a proficiency in like a longsword or a rapier, it's always going to be a +9 to hit. And that's a big thing. Because that basically means I could have a really shit dice roll and almost guarantee a hit.
That's pretty good.
Whereas with like a spell, even if it is a cantrip, because of like the numbers I rolled, unfortunately means that I could only really have 2 decent stats. So I have like I have the option of a +5, a +3, and a +2, 2 zeros and a 1. And I was like, well, I need strength because of the hit if I'm using a melee weapon close combat. I need a dex if I'm using a bow. So that means my 5 and my 3 is gone. And if I put a 2
why don't you put use a rapier or a whip and then use the dex for both?
Oh yeah, I'm just going to look that up now.
Because a finesse weapon like a dagger or a whip or a rapier would give you the ability to have a strength very low and maybe put it into con so you got more hit points. And then
I keep forgetting that whip is a thing, isn't it?
And whip gives you reach, I believe, as well.
Yeah, it does. And it allows you to add your proficiency.
I don't think it's very good damage though.
Oh no, it's 1d4.
Yeah.
But it's an
option. Rapier is a bit better.
Yeah, rapier is always a 1. It's an 8 +5, but with the longsword I get a 10.
Yeah, but a rogue carrying a longsword, you're not really optimizing your stat block, as it were.
I am proficient in it though as a half elf.
Ah,
that's one reason that I went for it. Because
there's me and one other person at our table who love creating either optimized builds or just like builds that shouldn't work but actually turn out to be really good. Like
I
thinking of a dexterity based barbarian tank and things like that. So yeah, I tend to pick up things from him in terms of like combinations of stuff. I think he once made a barbarian sorcerer because they both use charisma.
Oh, so he just put the charisma modifier in. And just
so he basically ended up making a barbarian with wild magic. It's like they've got an armored, they've got rage and an armored defense and can throw fireballs at people.
Fucking hell! I mean, that's overkill. To me, I'm just like, I'm not sure whether to have magic or just take more things and have some poison. That's my sort of length of experimenting with things, because it is a one character thing. And I was like, never played a rogue before, and it's PvP, and I want to make sure that I can at least run the fuck away, or at least half damage. I need to be able to like not necessarily go in all guns blazing, but just be able to take a few hits and maybe do some damage to sort of wait for someone else to knock another person out, which was one of the other reasons I didn't want to go for a magic class, because they're just, weaks. Armor class 10. And I'm not about that, considering my armor class is going to be a 16, but yeah. So yeah, theory crafting, all that good fun. That's what I've been doing for most of my week.
So the only other thing that sort of caught my eye yesterday evening, and I only watched this on a small tablet screen, so I must watch it properly, is there's a new Spider-Man trailer out, Spider-Man Far From Home.
I know.
And it looked all right on the tablet, but I want to put it on the big screen and watch it on the telly. But yeah, exciting times. Go check out Spider-Mans.
Yes, all the Spider-Mans. He must Spider-Man the most. Did you see about Jake Gyllenhaal's sort of cryptic tweet?
No.
I need to just find it for a second if my internet will work. But he had sort of like a tweet where he sort of hinted at a new Marvel film coming out. but I can't
Cool.
find the tweet because I have a horrible feeling he deleted it.
Ah.
I know, but I'm getting desperate to find it, and I can't. Damn it! Oh, come back to me about that one. I'll find it later. But yeah, it was to do with Mysterio. That's it.
Okay.
Because
Well,
he's
Mysterio's the villain
Yeah.
in the Spider-Man movie, so that'd be quite cool. I'm
that's
looking forward to it.
that's what reminded me of it. Is that it must be to do with the Spider-Man film. So yes, that's pretty awesome. So I found some news that got me a little bit not worried or whatever, but because we've been talking a lot about technology and China in the last recent shows, and China's put in their new flagship phone in from the Xiaomi company, but it's got 5G, and I didn't think there was a standard for that yet.
The last I'd heard about 5G was that it was being delayed in rolling out over in the UK and Europe and America because it was going to involve a lot of Huawei technology, and therefore
That's right. Yeah.
So I wonder if actually it is available. It's just that it's pushing what's the word? China has pushed its development to the point where if you want 5G, you're using Chinese technology, and people are reticent to do that.
But the Xiaomi Mi Mix 3, which funnily enough today is on sale in the UK for the 4G model with £50 off today. Just saw that randomly in a tweet for $4.50, which is a 6.4 inch 4K display with a Snapdragon 845 processor, 6 gigs of RAM, and 12 megapixel rear camera. And the interesting one is that it has a pop-up dual 24 and 2 megapixel front camera.
Wow. Okay.
Which I didn't know was a thing.
Well, that's the model with the slide up camera, isn't it? So you
Yeah.
don't have to have a cut out notch on the top of the phone.
Yeah, for more screen real estate.
Yeah, I think that sounds like quite a good idea.
It's kind of weird though that the 4G model is out the day that this article announces there's a 5G version next month.
But is that the 4G model is going to be available in the West and the 5G is only available in China or something?
I'm assuming so, but it's kind of the article is implying that a Chinese mobile global partnership conference is that all the phones that have got 5G are for the Chinese market, which makes me think it's more like a 4.5G.
Right.
Because you remember when which network was it in the UK? 3 had their 3.5G proprietary standard thing.
And there's also there's Edge, which is somewhere between 3 and 4, I believe. And then there's my phone occasionally will do I can't remember the name of it, but it does one that's supposed to be faster than 4G, but not quite.
Yeah, I remember. I remember when I was on 3, I got the H, which was the 3.5. But I'm looking up more about the 5G standard, and so far there doesn't seem to be. Well, like you said earlier, in the West, there doesn't seem to be actually an allocated frequency.
Okay,
but in China there is, and I'm not sure about Japan or anywhere like that.
You can make amazing leaps forward when you can just order the whole country to agree with you.
Oh dear!
We are going to use this standard. Yes,
we are. But
yes, we are.
There's a bit of a thing between because in the West we have 4G LTE, and the thing that's going on is whether we're going to be using a 5G LTE standard or a 5G Internet of Things standard, which is a narrowband frequency. So I don't know. I wish we could just get on with it, because standard line broadband needs to disappear because it's stupid. As someone that lives in a rural area says. I don't know about you. You probably love fixed.
I was going to say, I don't know don't know if I'm gonna if even 5G is going to be up to the 120 megabit a second you could get in the last place I lived.
Oh, you could get. Oh,
I could get. I don't. I only get 70 at the moment because we moved to a place. We moved to a building with multiple floors, and apparently Virgin only put in their fast lines to the ground floor.
but that means they can charge more for the rent.
Suppose so.
But yes, 20 gigabits per second is meant to be the average a person will be able to use on a 5G device at peak times. So that's the lowest we'll be able to get. Which is still impressive.
Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just a bit confused when there was an article saying there's going to be a 5G phone. I'm like, but the West doesn't have a standard yet. Boo.
So well, there we go. We see we can see what how it works and how successful it is, and then
Use the technology anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we want to be able to keep up.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yeah, sounds good. I like the going away from the 5G standard. I do like the idea of of new innovations in slides and things like that as a way of putting the camera out the way and not having this.
Did you see at CES there was the foldable phone?
I heard about it. I've not yet seen it, so it will probably be in the notes.
Yeah, it will be at some point, but for probably next week's show when I get a proper article for it. But it seems to be dividing a lot of opinion. So,
interesting.
Yes. And that foldable TV that we mentioned a couple of about 18 months ago was a thing. There, they finally got the foldable screens for the TV, the roll-up one. The LG one.
Nice.
So yeah, I'll have to have a bit of a talk about that soon.
Yes, I have to go back over CES. I missed a lot of it this year around. So
yes, but what about those busters of the ghosts?
Yes, indeed. So a new Ghostbuster movie may be in the offing, but this is not a follow-up to the all-female Ghostbuster reboot we had a couple of years ago. This is a bit of stream crossing, as Den of Geek describes it, from the son of the original director, Ivan Reitman. Jason Reitman is wanting to direct a straight-up sequel from the 1984 film. It's, as he describes it, a passing of the torch. He talks about how when he was 6 years old visiting the set, he decided he was the first Ghostbusters fan, and he said that this film would be the next chapter in the original franchise. It is not a reboot. What happened in the 80s happened in the 80s, and this is set in the present day. Which sounds exactly like the film I pitched that they should have done for the Ghostbusters with the full female cast instead of doing a reboot. I think it would have been more successful there, but there you go. So this is Jason Reitman. He's famous for Thank You for Smoking, Juno, Up in the Air, Frontrunner, Young Adult, all sorts of good stuff. Nothing sort of blockbuster, I guess. Juno was quite well received, but
yeah, I quite like that.
And Thank You. Yeah. And Thank You for Smoking as well, I think. So, there's but interestingly, he's not a sort of Michael Bay or Zack Snyder action filmy type. So, hopefully the magic that his father managed to capture in the original film would be present in this one as well. So, I think this is this could be really good. I'm holding out hope, as it were, especially as, like I say, it's very similar to the idea I had, and we've just discussed on the show in the past. Ivan goes on to say it will be a passing of the torch, both inside and out. This is sorry, I should just caveat. This is Ivan Reitman saying this a couple of years ago. And he says, it was a decision Jason had come to himself. He worked really hard to be independent and develop a wonderful career on his own. So it's quite surprising when he came to me with Gil and said, I know I've been saying it for 10 years, I'm the last person who would want to make a Ghostbusters movie, but I have had this idea. Literally, I was crying by the end of it. It was such an emotional and funny. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Apparently, Ghostbusters 3 is due out in the summer of 2020, which must mean that. I mean, I don't think there's any cast done for this yet, but if they're set for 2020, they must be just about ready to, start principal photography. So, yeah, it'd be interesting. I'd love to see what they can do with modern. Because the original visual effects on Ghostbusters were pretty good, so I'd love to see what they can do with modern CG technology and visual effects to really get some sort of diversity in the Ghost. Although having said that, I suppose we did see it in the Ghostbusters reboot. They were pretty good. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where this develops, but it's the Ghost. You have to admit the Ghostbusters franchise did take a bit of a beating.
Yeah, but I think the animated series, the real Ghostbusters, I think that kind of sits really fondly in like people from our generation that in our memories of as like we sort of think Ghostbusters 1 and then real Ghostbusters cartoon, and then we don't really remember there even was a Ghostbusters.
That's
2.
true.
So
that's true.
Hopefully, Ghostbusters 3 can capture what made the first film so good. I'd really love to see if Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd or someone shows up and sort of literally passes the torch to the next generation, sort of thing. I think that could be a lot of fun to do. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have just one sort of nice story that we can finish on. So I don't know whether this is a geeky thing or not, but it kind of is. But the world's loneliest frog has got a date. Yay! So a frog that was believed to be the last of his kind in the world has been granted the reprieve from solitude. So it's funny, he's called Romeo. Romeo, known as the world's loneliest frog, had spent 10 years in isolation at an aquarium in Bolivia. Scientists say that they found him a Juliet after an expedition to a remote Bolivian cloud forest. 5 Sahuinca's water frogs found in a stream were captured with the goal of breeding and reintroducing the amphibians back into the wild.
Nice.
So there's a biology one,
Yeah,
or an ecology one. Yeah.
nice.
It's nice that frogs get a date too.
Yes, nice note to finish on there. So yes,
And have you seen their eyes? Their eyes are amazing.
Oh, really? I don't think I clocked that
Yeah,
the
there's
first
a
time I saw
I
it.
linked a BBC thing.
I read it, but I think oh yes, no, I did see these. I skipped straight to the text, but yes, they are really, really strange eyes. Like they're made of thousands of tiny smaller eyes. It's a little bit chthonic.
Yeah.
But there we go. So
That's cool.
this has been a shorter show. Next week, hopefully, we'll be back long form to stamp your geek cards and keep things correct. But for the meantime, this has been show 118 or 117.5. I don't know. We're not a wow patch.
No, it's 118.
I
It's
have been
118.
Razerbug. You can follow me at RZBG.
And I am Robbie. You can follow me at Robbie_glow on the Twitters.
Indeed, and you can follow the show at TGC Show, and that will do it for this evening. Goodbye.
Bye.
You've been listening to The Geek Card with your hosts, Razerbug and Robbie Glow. You can find The Geek Card wherever fine podcasts are found and on the web at thegeekcard.podbean.com. The Geek Card is a proud member of the Voice of Geeks Network, where you can find other amazing podcasts like Orange Lounge Radio, Starboard Power Coupling, and Girls Gone WoW. Find out more at www.vognetwork.com.